In this video, we'll talk about extrema as they apply to functions. So first off, let's talk about what extrema means. So it stems from the idea that it's an extreme value, but in reality, it really just means we're talking about a maximum or a minimum. So like if we have a function, usually we see them on parabolas. That vertex is an extrema. And we see it sometimes on cubic graphs. Sometimes they'll have two extrema. So in this case, we've got a minimum, and we've got something of a maximum. And likewise on a parabola, we had a minimum. So it turns out there's two types of extrema. There's global, or sometimes called absolute, and there's relative. And this one doesn't have another name. So there's a slight difference between the two. So a global, whether it be a minimum or a maximum, it means that, so if I have a global max, this is the highest point on the graph, period. If I have a global minimum, same thing, except it's a minimum. So this would be the lowest point ever. Now we may have functions that look something like this. Now you might be thinking, okay, here's a point. Relatively speaking, it is a maximum. If you look at the points around it, yeah, it's higher than them, but it's not the highest point on the graph. So this would be a relative maximum. And likewise, this low point here. Not the lowest point on the graph, because this end just keeps going. So this is relative minimum. And it's a slight difference between the two. Relative, you're only looking at the immediate area around something. Global, you're looking at the entire spectrum.